I have a question. My question is, what brought you here? What brought you here? That was a question I get last year in July in Palm Springs, California. Immediately my French mind said, hey man, I just took 2-hour trains, 3 planes, 15 hours plane, and a shuttle bus. But then I started to be serious. And my answer came, I don't know why I'm in Palm Springs, but I can tell you what are all the circumstances that brought me here. In fact, I was in Palm Springs because I registered for the NSA conventions 10 days later. You may say Palm Springs, West Coast, NSA, East Coast. It's far away, not from a French perspective. But why did I register for NSA convention in Philadelphia, end of July? Because I had some friends from Quebec in Canada who invited me to spend August in holiday there. Then you can say, why did I spend the holiday in Quebec? Because those friends, I met them 1 year before in Italy. Yeah, the story would be long. I met them in Italy in a small village called Lucca, or in a small village close to Lucca. And I was in this village following a workshop, and that was where I met those friends from Quebec, because 2 weeks earlier, I already was in Italy in a very, very tiny village, 200 people, called Pari, P-A-R-I, following a workshop on synchronicity. Katja mentioned coincidences by presenting my talk. And I was working on synchronicity with a guy named David Pitt. He's from UK, and he settled down in this village in Italy to give workshop on synchronicities. And why did I was at that place? Because I read his book. And why did I read his book? Because I read another book. And why did I read that other book? Because a few months earlier, I decided to study luck. So I could continue my stories and all the circumstances brings us here. So let me tell you now another story. Yesterday, there was mentioning about Martin Luther King. Harry was mentioning it. He had a dream before him. I had a dream after him. And this dream was in April 2006 at Easter. It happens to be that that dream, came in my mind, and I shared it with a friend. I said, you know what? This summer, I may go to the United States in holiday. Okay, so far, so good. And then I added, and in the meantime, I can seize that holiday to maybe meet all the great speakers in the world. 3 days later, 3 days after Easter, I received a book on the post. Of course, I previously ordered it. I read that book, and one chapter started as following. In 1998, I went to the National Speaker Convention in Philadelphia, where I met all the famous speakers in the world. I said, wow! That was my answer. I stood up, I went to my computer, and I checked for NSA convention, and I discovered that the next one will be in Orlando. And there I was registered for my first NSA convention in Orlando. The guy who wrote that book, he is CSP. I had no idea at that time what it meant. And I was lucky to meet him at my first convention, Patrick Leroux. And he's also from Quebec. So you see, two stories are together, linked together. So, by going there, I met another guy. Oh, sorry, yeah, I met all these famous speakers. W. Mitchell, Robin Pierce, Naomi Roddy, Nido Cobain and all those great speakers. Who was in 2006 at the NSA? Yeah? Few of you? Okay, and we met also. And I met also a guy, he does not remember me, but I have no excuses not remembering him. Sam, was this 2006? Or am I wrong? You're right, of course. Thank you, Sam. So, yeah, and the actual president at that time was Rick Jekyll, or he was finishing. And I was lucky to hear his voices on VOE because he has a really nice voice, which mesmerized me to really come to that NSA convention. I also met another guy. He is from Australia, and he lives in Paris. And this guy, his name is David Edney. Who knows David? Some of you may know him. And so we met in Orlando and living in the same country, yeah? So, and David Edney, I introduced him to Laurent Tilsky, who is in the middle, yeah, as you can notice now. and David convinced, he was a link to convince Laurent to come the following year to San Diego. And here we are, Laurent Tilsky, Eric Martin, and I at our my second convention in NSA. And the following year, then, Laurent decided to create the NSA. Sorry, I was too. Yeah, you understand me. The French Association, the French Speakers Association, yeah. And then after that, creating that, I met a nice lady called Christine Loret. She's here, our actual president, yeah. We met in 2008, yeah. And then as life happens sometimes, I made a pause. I took some distance for personal reasons. And then, as unexpected, again, I was in Monaco, south of France. And I took my plane in the evening to go back to Strasbourg from Nizza. And guess when I was boarding, guess who was front of me? It was again Christine. And at that time, it was in March last year, and Christine said to me, Francis, come back to our convention. 1 month later, I was at a French convention. And then she convinced me to go to Philadelphia. That's a picture in Philadelphia, but here is to prove that I was in Philadelphia. Everybody braggy, ta-ta-ta. And in Philadelphia, one guy asked me, Francis, do you want to do a speaking at our convention at PSA Holland? It was Paul. Sorry, Paul. It's a picture, 2006 picture, yeah? So, what is a link with luck? In fact, the reason why I'm telling you this is because in my stories, there are a lot of successions of events, successions of circumstances that brings us here. And are we not lucky to be here at PSA Holland? Yeah. And most of the time we do not say by lucky, we say by chance we are here. That's most of the time the answer when people ask you, what brought you here? In my stories, it's clear to see the links, or at least most of them. In reality, it looks more like that. It looks more like a spaghetti. We cannot see the links, yeah? And if we could imagine that's one spaghetti, if you could straighten it, unfold it, you could discover that there is a structure behind chaos. And in that case, we could replicate luck. Of course, also, scientists talk about pure chance. Pure chance is when there are no links. The problem we have, or most people have, probably not as speakers, is that 90% of the time we think it's pure chance, what we call luck. And only 10% it's chance, which means we have a responsibility. In reality, according to scientists, they say, when we say by chance, it's because we are ignorant. We don't look, it makes an effort to look for the links between all that. So, in reality, 90% of the time when we say by chance or luck, we are responsible of our luck. And only 10% we are not. So that's why I'm coming to my first word. Chris had yesterday 7 words. I will limit it to 5 words, yeah? And also 5 questions. And my first word will be consciousness. People who are lucky, they are conscious that it depends on them, not on nobody else. That's the first key word, consciousness. So now if we are conscious that luck depends on us, we need to ask the next question. The next question is, what is luck? Strangely, when I started to study luck 2.5 years ago, I did not start with the beginning. I did not ask myself, what is the definition of luck? Yeah? And it took me a while before I took the dictionary and looked, what does it mean? And you can find, even if you have 50 people in this room, maybe 50 definitions. Yeah? And then I had to do this job again because I gave this presentation in English. So look what I found in English. Luck in English, success brought by chance. Probably the guy who was success, that's good. By chance. The question is it pure chance or not? We never know. It's difficult. It's hard to make the difference. So, in order to be more lucky, I propose you my definition of luck. Are you ready? You want it? Yes. Okay, here's the definition of luck. Luck is having a positive look on unexpected situations. Yeah? Having a positive look. You are all speakers, motivational speakers. So the positive side should be easy for you. And here it comes to our second key word, which is clarity. People who are lucky, it's clear in their mind what they want, what they are looking for. We heard it since yesterday. And let me see what one person, and I was lucky to meet one famous speaker, and you probably know him, maybe you have met him. And I found this on Facebook 2 weeks ago. And look at what he says. He says something like, do I want to sit around and tell you what's wrong with my life? And how having short fingers makes it hard to button buttons? You start to understand who it is. Or do I tell you how great it is? I picked the most attractive woman I could find and asked her to button my collar button. Yeah? Endless choices and possibility, it's a great thing. Who is it? W. Mitchell, yeah? Those who do not know W. Mitchell, he went through two really accidents who could have died. He's lucky to be alive, yeah? To still be alive. And he say that. Let me show you the proof. Here is the proof. This picture has been taken in 2009 at our first French convention. Look, he's surrounded by 2 French girls, yeah? And they are leaning close to him. They wanted to be in the picture with Mitchell, yeah? So, and connecting with positive people will help us to bring more luck in our life. And I also was luck. That's why the third question I have to you is, how can we connect with luck? And when I was at NSA, I also met another speaker. You may know him. Who knows him? Charlie Tremendous Jones, yeah? He passed away a few years ago. And he hugged me, like he probably done it with most of the speakers he met. And when he hugged someone, he said this, you will be the same person in 5 years from now as you are today, except the people you meet and the books you have read. So which means that people we are meeting, we are sharing lots of things, and we are lucky to meet all these people. Katja was mentioning it last night and already at the break. She said, go in contact with people you do not like. Yeah? It was a joke, but it's a real thing because we have maybe a negative view of it, and we don't go to those people to talk to them. Maybe we could be lucky by just having a talk to them. Yeah? So that's why we have to be in connection, which is the third word of connection. So, when I was in July last year in Palm Springs, I met a woman called Jenny, and I told Jenny that before going to Philadelphia, I will spend a few days in San Francisco. Jenny was from San Francisco Bay Area, luckily. And she said, Francis, if you come to San Francisco, give me a call, I'll show you around. And that's what happened. We spent the day together. We went to the beach for a walk, and suddenly Jenny stopped, took something from the sand, picked it up, and shows it to me. And she said, Francis, do you know what this is? I said, no. Here it is. That's a sand dollar. Who knows what is a sand dollar? Few of you. North America, you may know. That's the symbol, and she added, that's the symbol of luck. I say, oh, wow. I was not looking for that information, but how great it is to find an information you were not looking for. Yeah? That's a sea urchin. That's the way you say, sea urchin. Yeah? Yeah? And it has a 5-star on it, yeah? You can see it. And it's a symbol of luck. And I was studying luck. And she didn't know at that time that I was studying that subject, yeah? So you may call this serendipity. You know this word? Yeah? Everybody? It's another word for luck, but it's more used in research or discovery field. Serendipity. Serendipity is something that comes to you, what you were not looking for, but could be useful for you. But you need to be open-minded. You need to be conscious that it's coming to you. Yesterday, Ron told us another word for luck in business field, opportunity. Opportunity is now here, yeah? That's what we were saying, Ron, okay? And the last word, which is used in the psychological field, it's synchronicity. Synchronicity is a word which says that two things are happening at the same time, and it has a great meaning for the person who lives that synchronicity. It may not have a different meaning for the other. And I was lucky when I showed this to a friend, precisely to David Edney. He said, oh, if you take the letters away, it's SOS. And most people are saying, SOS, send us more luck. They are begging for more luck. You should not beg for more luck. You should be looking for more luck. And the question to ask is, what do I need to learn about luck in order to be more lucky? You see? And that's why we come to the next word, which is curiosity. Be curious, being curious. And I remember since I started that work on lucky, how to be lucky, each time I meet someone, I tell that people, I say, yeah, I'm working on a book about luck. 90% of the people turn around and go away. 5% starts to tell me what is luck and how to be lucky. Oh, that's great, I take it. And 5% were listening, were asking, yeah, tell me more how I can be lucky. Yeah? And one people told me, you must be lucky. I said, yes, of course. That's curiosity. Yeah? So the last question now, what can I do? How can I be luckier? So, and that's why the last word is construction, is doing something on a daily basis. And let me start up with the last stories, and just to be sure that, like Eric was mentioning, the evidence stories, probably. I was in San Francisco. It was my 10th time in San Francisco. And one morning, I woke up, and I had that idea, okay, today I go to visit Alcatraz. I said it to my friend, you have no chance. It was the 25th of July. So I went to Pier 33, and look what it says. Next departure available August 16. At the same time I saw that sign, a lady said, I have 2 tickets, one adult, one child. I said, I will take the adult. Here it is, here's the proof. And I departure half an hour later. So why do I tell you that story? The reason is most of my stories are happening when I'm traveling or when we are on holiday. Luck seems to be, or opportunities or synchronicities seems to happen more often when we are traveling. Why does this happen? Because when we are traveling in holiday, we are more open-minded. We have a positive look on what's around us. And we are more curious because unexpected situations, that's what's new, that's what's rare, or that's what's completely different what we used to do. So that's why my takeaways for you. My 3 takeaways. Every day, who does his to-do list every day? Some of you, yeah? When I start my to-do list, the first thing I write down is expect 3 good news. That's not something to do, that's something to welcome. At the end of the day, if I can erase what I have done, I say, oh, what was my 3 good news today? It could be small things. It doesn't need to be big things. The good news will nourish your positive view. The second thing I write down is 3 new things. At home, in your office, change the road you take to your office, take a new plate, go to a new restaurant, go to a new library or new friends. Do something new. It can be small things. Instead of walking to the town hall, you can take the tram, whatever, small things, small changes. And the last thing to do, and was, where is Ailey? Is she gone? Oh, yeah, is to be ready, because when luck appears, probably the 10% pure chance, are we ready to seize it? In order to be ready, we need to be ready to say yes. That's why 3 yes. And 3, that's the magical number, yeah? So just to finish, yeah? You see consciousness, you are responsible for your luck, clarity, know what is luck, connection, connecting with each people, even in people which are not in our field and whatever they are doing, being curious, really curious, and do that on a daily action. That's what you are building your luck. So I started my presentation with what brought you here. I would like to finish my question with what will bring you luck, more luck in your life. The answer is you. Thank you. Moi d'où il vient, enfin je saurai où je vais. Maman dit